Thank you, Mr. Vickers. It's a pleasure to serve under your chairship. Can I congratulate the Honourable Member for Slough for securing this important debate. It couldn't have come at a more timely moment. On average, the debt that Africa owes is equivalent to something like 24% of its gross domestic product. As of 2022, Africa's debt burden was around $1.8 trillion US dollars. As an absolute number, this does not appear as high as some. Germany's debt is larger. But compared to the living standards and available wealth of the people and their governments, it is crippling. And the debt has been placed on the backs of African nations as a legacy of centuries of colonialism and exploitation. Exploitation that continues today as Western corporations make billions every year from the natural resources of the continent, particularly in the form of mineral extraction. To demonstrate the extent to which Western mineral exploitation damages Africa, out of all African nations, Botswana and Botswana's government retains ownership and control of the country's considerable mineral wealth. And as a result, it has by far the lowest national debt as a percentage of its gross domestic product, barely a quarter of neighbouring South Africa, and even its closest rivals have doubled its debt. Botswana stated that its aim in retaining control of its mineral resources is to maximize the economic benefit of its people and its works. For centuries, Africa was pillaged of its wealth, timber, oil, diamonds, and above all, its people. Western nations grew rich on the backs of the slaves they took there and the exploitation of those that remained in Africa. And then from their colonization of those same nations, as rich countries and their corporations continue to steal by deceit, by intimidation, by fomenting unrest and division, particularly for the rare earth minerals that drive our technological society and bloat the bank accounts of the companies that make and use that technology. Africa, you see, is not poor. The West has stolen its wealth and is still doing so today. Aid and loans to Africa, along with personal remittance from Africans working abroad, are far less than what is taken out of Africa each year, by at least 40 billion US dollars annually, making aid and loans little more than camouflage for neocolonial exploitation, piling debt onto the people of Africa that drains away their ability to build themselves better economies and a better standard of living. And as usual, the money going out of Africa is going into corporate profits, while the cost of loans and aid is borne by taxpayers. The reparations that the UK and other nations owe to the people of Africa and the other countries exploited for so long is a huge debt owed, both moral and financial, and cancelling Africa's debt would be one small step toward repaying what was stolen and making restitution for centuries of damage done. Yet governments will not acknowledge this debt they owe to Africa, let alone put in place measures to do something about it or to claw back some of the obscene corporate and personal fortunes dug out of Africa and its people. Mr. Vickers, it's high time that situation changed. Thank you.